Most people assume that if an angel were present in their home, they would know it immediately. They imagine something unmistakable, a blinding light, a voice that shakes the walls, something so far outside the ordinary that there would be no question, no room for doubt, no possibility of missing it. But that is almost never how it works. The presence of a messenger sent by God tends to arrive quietly. It tends to work within the ordinary, inside the moments you were already having, the feelings you were already carrying, the spaces you already lived in. And because of that, most people live their entire lives inside a presence they never fully recognized for what it was. This message is about learning to recognize it. Before we get to the 3 signs, there is something important to establish about what an angel actually is. Not in the way movies and greeting cards have presented them, but in the way they actually function. An angel is a messenger. That is the most direct translation of the word. Not a decoration, not a good luck charm, not a vague spiritual energy that makes things feel warmer. A messenger has a specific assignment, a specific purpose, a specific reason for being where they are at the moment they are there. And when God places one near you, near your home, near your family, near the spaces where your life actually happens, it is never accidental, and it is never without reason. Sign number 1. You have experienced a moment of unexplained peace, a sudden, irrational calm that arrived in the middle of something that had no business feeling calm. You know what this feels like if you have felt it. You are in the middle of a situation that should be producing panic, or grief, or fear. And without any obvious reason, the feeling shifts. Not because the situation changed. Not because you talked yourself into it. Not because of anything you did. The room, or the moment, or something inside you simply becomes still. And the stillness feels like something that came from outside of you, not generated within you, but placed there. This kind of peace is one of the most consistent signs recorded across thousands of years of accounts, from ancient texts to modern testimony, of angelic presence. It does not announce itself loudly. It does not come with a visible figure or an audible voice. It simply arrives, quietly and completely, in the middle of a moment that had no natural explanation for it. If you have experienced this, especially during a season of difficulty, grief, or crisis, do not be too quick to explain it away. Do not let the matrix convince you that it was just your nervous system resetting, or a coincidence of timing, or something your mind manufactured to protect itself. Peace that passes understanding does not come from understanding. It comes from somewhere else entirely. Sign number 2. You have woken up, or been pulled out of sleep, at a specific moment, with a specific thought, feeling, or sense of urgency that did not feel like it originated from you. This one is subtle, and it is easy to dismiss. You wake up at 3 in the morning and immediately think of someone. Not vaguely, specifically. Their name, their face, a sense that something is happening with them, or that they need something right now. Or you wake up with a clarity about a decision you have been struggling with, not because you dreamed about it, but because you simply wake up knowing. The confusion that was there when you went to sleep is gone. Something resolved while you were not conscious to interfere with it. These moments of nighttime clarity or urgency are documented consistently in both ancient and modern accounts of angelic activity. The night hours are significant, not because angels are limited to darkness, but because that is when the noise of the day is fully gone, when the matrix is quieter, when your own mental activity has stepped back far enough that something else can get through. A thought that arrives with that kind of specificity, in that kind of stillness, at a moment when your own mind has no reason to produce it. That deserves more than a quick dismissal as you reach for your phone. That deserves to be treated as what it may actually be: a communication, a direction, a message that was placed specifically for you at the moment you were finally quiet enough to receive it. Sign number 3. You have sensed in a specific room or space in your home that you are not entirely alone, even when you know, logically, that no one else is there. This is the sign most people are quickest to dismiss, because the most immediate explanation the mind reaches for is either imagination or something unwanted. But there is a third possibility that rarely gets considered seriously enough. The sense of presence, the feeling that something aware and intentional is sharing the space with you, not intruding, but simply there, may be exactly what it feels like. A presence, a real one, not your imagination, and not something dark. Think about how a protective presence actually functions. It does not need to make itself fully visible, to be fully present. It does not need to announce itself to be doing its assignment. In the same way that a watchman does not need to knock on the door every hour to confirm they are still standing outside. The work is simply happening, quietly, whether or not the people inside the house are aware of it. You were not designed to be constantly aware of everything watching over you. That awareness would be overwhelming. But the absence of constant awareness does not mean the absence of presence. It means the presence is working exactly the way it was intended to. Now bring all 3 signs together for a moment. An unexplained peace that arrived from outside you, a nighttime clarity or urgency that did not originate from your own thinking, a sense of presence in a space you know to be physically empty. None of these are dramatic. None of them require you to reorganize your entire understanding of reality. They are quiet, ordinary, domestic, the kind of things that happen in the margins of a regular life, in the rooms of a regular home, and get written off before they are ever fully considered. But if even one of these has happened to you recently, or more than once in the same season of your life, it is worth sitting with the possibility that it was not random. Here is what it would mean if it was not random. It would mean that in the middle of your ordinary life, your regular home, your regular routines, your regular struggles, something was assigned to be near you. Not because you earned it, not because your life was extraordinary enough to warrant it, but because the plan for your life included a specific kind of covering, and that covering was sent. It would mean that the home you live in, whatever its size, whatever its condition, wherever it is located, has been treated as a space worth watching over, worth protecting, worth placing something near. This is the part that tends to shift something for people when they actually sit with it. Not the dramatic version of angelic presence, the blinding light and the shaking room. But this version, the quiet one, the one that has been operating in the background of your life, in the spaces between the moments you were paying attention to, doing something you were never fully aware of. Your home has not been abandoned. Your life has not been left unattended. Even in the seasons where you felt most alone, most unprotected, most certain that nothing was watching over you. Something was there. So what do you do with this? Not in the dramatic sense. You are not being asked to reorganize your home or perform a specific ritual or start looking for signs in every corner. What you are being asked to do is quieter than that. Simply become more willing to let the ordinary moments of your life carry more weight than you have been giving them. The peace that arrived unexpectedly, let it be what it might have been, instead of immediately explaining it away. The nighttime clarity that woke you up, follow it, or at least write it down, instead of letting it dissolve with the morning. The sense of presence in an empty room, sit with it for a moment, instead of immediately filling the silence with noise. Because here is what tends to happen when people begin paying attention to these things. They start noticing that the signs were not new. They were not something that started recently. They were always there, running quietly in the background of a life that was moving too fast or too distracted or too convinced that the ordinary could not contain anything significant. The moment you slow down enough to actually look, the moment you stop explaining everything away before you have fully examined it, you often discover that the presence you are looking for has been present for a very long time. So go back to your home tonight with a different kind of awareness. Not a fearful one, not a hypervigilant one that turns every creak of the floor into something to analyze, just an open one. An awareness that says, this space may not be as empty as it looks. The quiet may not be as empty as it sounds. What has been assigned to be near me may have been near me for longer than I realized, doing something I am only now becoming willing to acknowledge. That acknowledgement does not require proof. It only requires willingness. The willingness to consider that your home, your ordinary, unremarkable, everyday home, has been a place worth watching over this entire time. If this reached you the way it was meant to, write this where you can see it. I am watched over. Type it in the comments. Not as a wish, as something you are choosing to believe about your home, your life, and everything that has been quietly present in the spaces you thought were empty. And if you have not already, subscribe, because this story is still being told, one chapter at a time, and you are not meant to miss what comes next. Until the next one, awakened choosers.